Cool. Welcome to STFD Studio. We've got our friend Joshua Grierson, who performs and creates stuff under the name Jak Tomas, in studio with us today. Hello.
Good afternoon, John.
How you doing, dude?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Cool. As I
Happy
said to
to be
Jono
here.
last week, it's so good to see you in real life.
Dude, it felt so weird, like, like seeing you guys when I arrived, and fuck, it's been a weird time, man.
It has been.
It's been a really, really weird time. And obviously connection with friends. Phones are only take you so far, and then you need a hug.
Totally.
Just some face-to-face. So,
Totally.
it's lovely to see all of you guys.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming. So, just tell us a little about yourself, I guess, like what you do, who you are.
Right on. Well, basically, since the age of 5, I've been involved with music. My dad taught me to play when I was 5 with a guitar, and I kind of found my feet a couple of years later with some songbooks and a number of different ways. And then around between the ages of like 10 and 13, I started writing songs, little scats here and there and things, and then I formed my first band at 13. Started another band and then a solo project started when I was about 15, 16. Then I was in a hardcore band called Neshama when I was 19, still doing the solo thing. I did that for 2 years, got to tour America, got to do some really cool stuff with the band. We released one split EP and an album, and got to do some really cool stuff with that band. Also got to work with Hanu from The Narrow. He produced the record. So we had a lot of fun. And then from my early 20s, I was basically full-time solo artist and also a guy who would start bands.
Cool.
So I did a band called Big Exit with Nikolai Ruiz from Sleepers and a whole bunch of other guys, Morgan from Stoker, and then a kind of relatively unknown bassist, but he was actually doing things with do you remember Mama No Nothing?
Yeah, of course.
With Sonny Fox.
Yeah.
He was the bassist in that
Oh,
band.
crazy.
That's where we met. His name is Adir Levy, and he's a very talented, more predominantly jazz bassist, but he really fit well in the like funk and jazz. He brought that.
Yeah, I remember that band. I think
Yeah, that was fun. That was
cool.
and it had some legs, but I was doing too many projects and I cut it, and I'm still bummed about that. But
Cool.
and then some years later, I was reinventing and playing around, and then I worked with Nicholas van Reenen on a 6-track body of work called, at the time was called Follower, under the Follower guys, and that kind of evolved into Age of Waves when I started looking for band members to actually back me. And the music just inadvertently changed, and we moved away from what was initially recorded. But there is plan on actually releasing that content. But then Age of Waves clearly had a very stronger rock influence, but we wanted to do things differently. So we were about to release. We're going to release a record this year. We were planning on doing a whole vinyl and tape and all that stuff, but obviously right now we're a bit unsure about how we're going to release. But there is a single on YouTube, our first single called Yagilski.
Cool.
You pronounce it Yagilski, it's an acronym. So Age of Waves and Jak Tomas. Those are the two things now that are my front end stuff. And then I also do DJing. I'm also a producer. And I also do music for film, fashion films, things like that. So anything music, wedding singing as well. Not that I'm doing that now.
Yeah.
But anything under that, guys, I've been involved with all my
man.
life.
Yeah,
So,
you're just creating all the things.
trying my best, always to be something different.
Yeah. So I think I met you and saw you perform as a solo artist for the first time circa 2004, somewhere around there on the borders
Yeah, I mean, we've
of
known each other a long
Namibia
time,
and
John.
South Africa on
We've
the
known
Orange
each
River
other
there.
a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
time.
And then you were called Emo Kid Josh.
Yes, that's correct.
Since then, you've reinvented yourself a few times.
Yes,
You've changed your performing name.
yes.
And obviously, each time this happens, you build an identity for a while and you start building a following. Do you think that sometimes changing your names breaks momentum, or do you find that that's what you need to carry on as an artist? To reinvent yourself every time keeps you motivated, keeps it exciting for you. Like, what's your relationship?
I would say
with
both.
this changing your name.
That's it. It's tricky, especially since I'm not standing at the level of if Folk of Politico decided to change their name now. They're at that level where they can and do it quite successfully. So just use them as an example, not that they ever will, but because they've got the following. So it's a bit tricky for me, and so I say both because I do lose momentum. People then struggle to find me online. It can be menacing, but I also do like pushing reset and seeing what this could mean. So it's a bit of a burden. It's a blessing and a curse in many ways. I think I found my stride with Jak Tomas because it really feels to be strong and authentic. and I don't think it will go away. And I needed something that was just a little bit easier on the mouth. Like Joshua Ganth Grierson's quite a big mouthful.
Yeah. What about when you made it backwards? I mean,
Yeah,
that was
I've tried
even
all
worse.
I've tried all sorts of things, mate. You got. The thing is, the biggest frustration for me was that I've never really, well, for the last 10 years, I've never had a manager or people that I could hold me accountable to what we've discussed. Have a meeting, decide on a few things that we're going to do for the next 3 to 6 months. I haven't had people around me to go, hey Josh, we're in a fucking company together. Like, can we stick to the plan? And I come up with new ideas of maybe marketing myself all the time. So some work, some don't. And that's the problem. It's a lot of trial and error, but you don't want too much trial and error.
But I think it's also important to note that like the material isn't necessarily different each time, right? You've got a couple of songs in the repertoire that have lasted a couple of your different artistic phases,
Yes.
and yeah.
No, there's like the one that I'm gonna play later. I don't know how that works.
Yeah. It'll be
play
in a
it
little while.
later. Is Crossroads, which has been a song that's been with me a fucking long time, and it started out as a scat, and now it's like it's a fully grown song. So you've always got to pull back the old repertoire. I'm sure there's cats who still come to your gigs and go like, "God, dude, play me that track from the first record."
Of course.
Because that's just how you got to do it. You got to play at least some of your old catalog, even though you're excited to play the new stuff. There's gems that people love to hear.
Yeah. So one thing you've always been pretty good at is establishing a clear distinction between what you're doing as a solo artist and what you're doing with band projects. It's never been the Joshua Grierson band or the Jak Tomas band. You've always built an entirely like new brands, new material, and all that kind of stuff. And you've obviously been in a bunch of different bands over the years, ranging from Neshama, which is a hardcore band, to more kind of progressive rock, psych rock kind of stuff.
Yes.
And do you think this is a reflection of your taste in music as well?
Definitely. I mean, you got to understand that like while I was like making very intense metal hardcore music with Neshama, I could still get lost with listening to Rufus Wainwright. Like I've always had an extremely varied taste. The only thing that I've never really kind of like adopted as a genre that I can go to and always go like, okay, I've got these 3 or 4 guys in this genre would be hip hop. That's the only genre I haven't really kind of thrown myself in naturally. It's not I don't naturally gravitate towards hip hop, but there's something about spoken word and the elements that make up hip hop that get me really excited. Like I watched the Beastie Boys documentary the other day. That was so cool. It's like out of my comfort zone, but it got me thinking about how I could use found sounds and sampling and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've just got a very varied interest in music. It's all music. You know what I mean? I don't see music as genres. If you got to explain it to a friend, then you use a genre to help them understand. But it's all sound. It's all frequency. So I like to interact with that. Yeah, it's nice to see where you will fuck up, and it's nice to see where you're good at.
Yeah,
and naturally. So yeah, I enjoy a whole range.
Yeah,
of stuff.
I've definitely noticed that comes into your solo performance as well. It's interesting how just one man with a guitar can cross over so many genre boundaries as well.
I appreciate that, and I'm always the thing for me when I write is that if it sounds like anybody else. If it's immediately starting to sound like somebody that I know, like a song that I know, because we listen to so much music, it's going to come out. I'm like, stop, and then I change. I have to, so I'm constantly trying, not that I'm writing super weird, out there, unique shit, but within what I do, I still want it to feel unique, to me at least.
Well, from my perspective, I think you've nailed that.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
It's always been on the frontal lobe.
Yeah, there've very few artists that I've seen that I would consider similar in style to you. All right, let's get deep for a second. As a friend of yours, I know that you have had strained relationships with things like alcohol and various substances over the years, and mental health and things like that. This has, I think, pushed you away from being a musician sometimes, right? I mean, obviously, being a musician is conducive to being in environments that aren't necessarily healthy all the time, and late nights, bars, all that kind of thing.
Yes. The temptations are there.
Yeah, totally. But you always seem to make a strong comeback, and you always seem to come back with a bit of a stronger character than before.
I think for me, it's almost like there's a bit of a, one could consider your life as like a snake, and each layer that you're shedding is like a snake. It needs to shed its skin so that it can grow, physically grow. And to deal with the winter or summer or autumn or spring or whatever they find themselves in. So I find that analogy quite good with me. And because the human condition is so deep, it is like, an onion wrapped in a mystery. I'm constantly trying to find ways that I can make my experience of this life beautiful, magical, interesting, but also that I'm better tomorrow than I was yesterday. That's very important for me, that I'm somehow constantly aware that I can be better at what I do on stage or relating with other people. I can always be better. I can always expand my brain. It's just up to me to make the choice to do that. So I think, yes, alcohol, my dad's an alcoholic. So there was that. That had a role to play. But, for the last 7 weeks, I didn't stock up on alcohol. And it was a wonderful thing to be able to actually get my head a bit more clearer, because I've been doing 3 nights a week for 4 years in a DJ position at Aces and Spades and Village, being one of the resident DJs. And with a healthy bar tab, you end up going home regularly, not so well. So, and it started to catch up with me more on a physical body, biological stuff than a mental state. But being diagnosed with ADHD as a kid, and then again as an adult, and then navigating that, and then also having a nervous breakdown at 28 when I stopped drinking. And I think at that point I was drinking like I was drinking now, but I don't know what exactly happened. There was a lot of things going on at the time, and as I've mentioned on stage a lot, at the time I was living with my sister in a house that we were house sharing, actually just looking after, because someone had died in the house. But there were so many things going on that I don't know what happened. Like, I just started going a little bit loopy, but I had stopped drinking. And I know that alcohol is a suppressant, a major suppressant. So obviously, we take that away, then everything starts bubbling to the surface. And I went on medication, and that was helpful. But I didn't want to make it a lifelong decision. I didn't want to take medication just so that I can have a conversation with people or be free or do whatever the hell I was doing. So I kind of weaned myself off that. And I guess it's been a process of, I think a lot of life is accepting yourself. Just accepting who you are. And you and I are in our 30s now. We know who we are. We know that there's always something that we can be better at. We know we've got our foibles. But getting closer to the point of going, you know what, I actually quite like myself. And if you don't like me, well, that's okay. But this is who I am. I think my life's been that. Coming to accept myself, learning how I can, with my energy, be of a service to other people.
Yeah. I guess it's also important to understand that there's self-destructive lines that shouldn't be crossed, though, you know? And as much as you want to say, like, this is me, accept it or leave it.
Well, if you're telling me that you're a heroin addict and I must accept it, then I will say bullshit, because that's not part of your personality.
Yeah,
you weren't born with a needle in your arm. You know what I mean? You're a junkie and you got a problem and you got to sort that shit out.
Yeah.
There's a big difference between someone's personality, clashing, than being a junkie. So, pick your battles. Yeah. I think that's also something I'm learning, is picking your battles.
But all these things that you've addressed and struggled with, or that have affected you in any way, do you think that this is like ultimate fuel for your art, like ultimate fuel for your music?
I will say beyond a shadow of a doubt that I've always wondered, like many artists, do you need to be sad to write a sad song? I would say yes. I need to feel that thing that I'm speaking about. I've been listening to the radio, because I can't listen to it's a long story, but I've been listening to the radio, and which I don't like doing, because most of it is cuck.
Yeah, I'm sorry that's happened to you.
There were some songs that came through in the lyrics of these songs. Like, there's a new song, I don't know if it's new or old, but the lyrics are literally, I'm going to break your heart before you break mine, so that I don't get my heart broken by you. Basically, that's the track. And I'm like, guys, this is going to an audience between the ages of probably 16 and 25. What the fuck are you teaching them? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that my lyrics are all inspirational and fixing you, But that I would never sing that. I would never feel comfortable singing those lyrics, knowing that it could be a fucking big hit and the whole world is going to hear it. I want to send out that message. So I think artists have a responsibility as well to.
I totally agree with you.
You know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
We have a responsibility to present something that gives a full picture, but also doesn't, like lyrics that inspire and encourage, but also make one think. You look at the Murder Ballads by Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. What a great album. Deep fucking fucked up songs. Shit happens. But it's done in a story-based way. Whereas this song just felt like another cool thing to say, and it'll be on a t-shirt soon.
Yeah.
Vapid.
And
I don't want my
written by a
music.
team
I've
of
never wanted
35
my music to
people,
be
probably.
vapid. You know what I mean? That's my
Yeah.
main thing. I've always, because of also the artists that I listen to, it's never made sense to me to just write a song because it make me money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I appreciate that. I appreciate what you're saying now, and I know that everyone involved with Sit the Folk Down does, and most of the shows that you played for us, I think it's such a big attraction is like the content, not just the genre.
Well, John, I can say the same thing about your music.
Thank you, but
Lyrically,
this is about you, my man.
yeah, I know it is about me, but I'm just saying the reason why we're all sitting here and standing here and talking is because we have a mutual respect for each other. You understand? And it's
Totally.
not just because you guys can give me some airtime. It's because I like working with people who make cool shit. And you're, especially lyrically, I'm just like blown away by the stuff that you come up with and the way that you see these things. It's just really cool for me.
Thanks,
it inspires me as well, to keep writing.
Thank you. I mean, I haven't written my hit yet about breaking hearts and stuff, but we'll get there.
You'll write another hit and it won't involve stupid lyrics.
All right. So, interestingly enough, I mean, considering you've been doing this for almost 2 decades now,
Yes.
you don't really have a proper polished full studio album out yet under your solo kind of.
Yes. I actually met before we went, about 2 months before Corona hit South Africa. I had a meeting with the House Machine guys. They've been very supportive, as you know. They're supportive to everyone.
Yeah,
They're an incredible brand.
Constant supporters of local music.
Yes. And interesting music.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I absolutely love them for that. But we had a conversation about maybe Brad and Farrell producing, Brad coming on a more brand level. So we spoke about that. And unfortunately, obviously, everything is now up in the air. But next Saturday, I don't know what the date is next Saturday. Not this Saturday now. What's the date? Today's the Thursday. I just want to get the right date for the guys out there.
We'll put it in the description.
So next Saturday, I'm going to go onto their platform and I'm going to be doing a Instagram live from their base. So you must go to the House of Machines' Instagram page, and I'll be going live from there. So things like I can't remember why we could talk about them.
We're talking about a studio album that you haven't released yet.
Okay. So there's a lot of frustration. There has been a lot of frustration about that very point. And I've never been in only in the last 4 years that I feel like financially I could pay rent and, be an adult.
Yeah.
That hasn't been easy growing up. I didn't have my parents didn't have a trust fund where I could just go and record album after album or buy gear and do it by myself. So it's kind of been like, start, stop. But 4 years ago, got an opportunity to start DJing, and I started making some really, really good money, and I could start buying gear and actually start to see if I could do this. Could I run this little studio from my room, and could I do this thing? And by some hook or crook, it worked out. I was finding a sound by myself, and that's what's so wonderful. I mean, about having the studio. You can come here at any time of the day. You can lay an idea down and totally fuck it up and fuck with it and mess with it and play with it because you don't have the clock ticking. You don't have the 1,000 rand a day on your back of your mind to and that does mess with creativity. It can really, so now we have to do a full 3 months of pre-production before we even hit the studio because we need to know our shit. So we spend less time here. So all these factors have a role to play. And for anybody out there who wants to do this, start saving. You know what I mean? Because you want to put out a good product. You want to make good content. But thankfully, today it's a little easier. 40 years ago, I couldn't just go buy gear because it was so expensive. Film, you were printing on tape. So now you can go for hours, as we all know. So I started playing around and using these tools, and I had I've had limited experience actually sitting at a desk, but I've always wanted to automate, play around. So I started learning and teaching myself. And I've got an album coming out in a couple of weeks. It's 7 tracks. It's not like an album. It's more like an elongated EP, but it's called Of Love and Anxiety, and it does feature a few of the songs that I'm going to play today, and also it's very produced. I went balls to the walls with harmonies and with sounds and some found sounds, and I just kind of wanted to create this world to see if I could, and it's flowing quite nicely. I also got to work with a Canadian photographer that I met on Instagram, and he produced some images for me. So that is coming out very soon. It'll be available on Bandcamp for $10, and then the first 25 people will get my 42-track best of that I released last year. They'll get that for free, and then it will be on all the various streaming platforms from July onwards. So
Awesome.
that is coming. But to Age of Waves is also we worked with Simon Ratcliffe, Simon Fuzzy.
Big fan.
Yeah, and you guys did as well, so you know how wonderful it is to work there. And we spent over the course of a year, 2 years. There was a year gap in between the first session and the second session, and we recorded and everything at Sound in Motion. We tracked everything live with a little bit of overdubs here and there, because we really wanted to. We really wanted to capture the energy that we get, and then we mixed with. Did we mix with Fuzzy? Yeah, Fuzzy mixed it, but we mastered with Metropolis in the UK. We did a great job. Unfortunately, Tim Young, the guy that we started with, had retired by the time that we wanted to do our second side, because we actually wanted to do a vinyl, as I mentioned earlier. And then we got Andy Hippie Baldwin. So Tim Young has worked with has mastered some Queen stuff and some, what else did he do? He did a lot of cool shit. I think even possibly he was nominated for a Grammy or something. And then Andy worked with Oasis and a few other guys. So we've had some good people on it. And it wasn't cheap, eh?
I'm sure it wasn't.
You know the cost at Fuzzy, but when you walk out of that studio, and on the end of the day, the last night, you listen to the master tracks and you look at each other going like, fuck, we created something really beautiful here.
Yeah, he's doing an amazing thing. And even when you step into that studio, it's almost like money doesn't matter anymore. You're just like, this is such a cool environment. And he doesn't make you feel like, hey guys, we got to, he'll let you know, because he's got a schedule, obviously. He's got his things that he has to do. But he's been very good. He was very good for us. So I'm very excited to release that as well. Yeah, so there is a lot of music coming from me this year. Awesome.
Which I'm really excited about. And like you mentioned, Age of Waves and Jak Tomas are completely different things. What was exciting was that I've over the years I became very close with Sugar Siegerman, one of the guys that found Rodriguez. And he's actually sitting with the records at the moment and just giving some feedback, and he might also help with a little bit of getting it out there with his channels.
Amazing, yeah.
So I'm hoping that these records can help get me to the next plateau or the next rung. But obviously everything is a little bit up in the air right now, and I'm just hoping, to be honest with you, I'm just hoping that it will help me financially. Just for the next 3 months, that Oaks will support it. And
yeah, I mean, that's you being a full-time artist, that's that's what you need.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, we'll obviously do whatever we can to help spread the word.
You always do.
And put it out there to our community.
Oh, thanks.
Cool. So today you're going to play a few songs for us. I think out of all the different formats I've seen you play music in, this has always been my favorite. Just you with your guitar, raw, honest, loud, not so loud, whatever comes out of you.
Feels like it.
So thanks for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you. It's great to see you. And as I said last week, we're sick of talking about this virus. It's been on the tongues of everybody in the world for way too long now. Obviously, it's a reality that we've got to live with, but I think it's time to put a bit more positive stuff out there.
I agree.
And it's great to have you here so people can listen to some music. Even though it's not live, it's live.
Well, you know, what I love about this space is that it's so familiar to me, because I did a lot of stuff here with Popsicle, and now with you guys. It's like it's becoming a second home, a place where I can come and lay down some stuff. So thank you guys for, I'm always just very appreciative of anyone who wants to put me on their platform. But we've got a very good love for each other, and supporting each other. So thank you.
That's great to hear. That's exactly what we're trying to create here. It's a comfortable space where creativity can just flow and we can make cool shit happen.
I was almost, because I didn't play with the headphones, I think... what are the I get that.
Because I'm not going to play with the headphones.
Because I'm not going to play with headphones. I might lose something there. Anyway, but thank you for having me. Oh, that's the back and forth. But yes, thank you, John.
Thanks for coming, man.
It's been great.
We'll see you on a stage soon.
I hope.
Cool.
Cheers.
Are we really trying? We are always fighting. Eyes, they are not meeting of late. Silver state, we are in. Our gears are stuck or grinding. Our fears are now subsiding. Who will be paraded? The loudest bell in the hall. We forgot the mirror holds the knives in our throats. I've started to go backwards. So fine when I went sideways. Forgive the boy who broke his promise to love again. 'Cause we forgot the mirror holds the nights in our throats. In our throats. You are not the enemy. 'Cause Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Jak Tomas, and this is what I do. And I've been doing it for a very long time. I used to do it under the name of Joshua Grierson or Joshua Kenneth Grierson, but a bit of a made a concerted effort some time ago, about 2 years ago, to change it to Jak Tomas. And yeah, so I'm about to release a new record, and there's lots of cool things happening. And but I'm feeling really, really happy to be here today. That first song's called Enemy. It's coming off, it's one of the songs of my new record. A new record of love and anxiety. This is the first single that came off that record. It's called I Was Just a Kid with a Crush. There was a world standing smug between us, yet the new world quietly pulled me closer. But I was just a kid with a crush. I was just a kid. Then came the dance. I asked you through my nervousness. We swayed. I was just a kid with a crush. But I was just a kid with a crush. Oh my God, you're beautiful. I was just a kid with a crush. I was just a kid with a crush. You were a child. I was not much older. But kindness goes far when you are an outsider, and you knew that I was just a kid with a crush. I was just a kid with a crush. Oh my God, you're beautiful. I was just a kid with a crush. I was just a kid with a crush. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was the first single that came off my record of Love and Anxiety. It's called I Was Just a Kid with a Crush. Also available on Spotify and iTunes and all the various places. So the upcoming album has got 7 tracks on, and mostly singer-songwriter with a lot of other things. I did it all by myself. I recorded it in my home studio. Just thinking about what I wanna do next, which is So sometimes you forget your lyrics, and you must make sure that you have your lyrics. So I'm here getting my lyrics out for a song called You Don't Live Here Anymore. And it's been a song that's been with me. I haven't recorded it as yet, but actually Mr. John Sibande does a very good harmony with me on this one. And we are hopefully going to record the song live one day here at Sit the Foot Down. You don't live here anymore. Just in case. Can't be too careful. Let's have a look. Continents we traveled to find a pretty heap of accepted rubble. Call our moms, so let's do it. Pick apart reasons why I stay. Such a season. It's not a choice, but a simple twist of fate. You were the summer kind, while I was always of a winter mind. Now we only speak in opposites. Now we only speak in opposites. Sun waves, I will stay till I feel that I can't face it. You don't live here anymore. Peel away another catastrophic layer. Expose our hearts in the rooms of the shrinks. Broad words, broad color, to a childhood now, lost in anger, 'cause you don't live here anymore. And waves, I'll stay till I feel I cannot stay. 'Cause you don't live here anymore. Under sheets, I'll Thank you so very much. My June, Johnny, my Jones, Bobby, alas, you'll never be. I set myself up for a fall. And oh, how I felt, even though I knew our love story could never be told. Well, John lost her Bobby to his blonde on blonde, while Jude and Johnny are forever and beyond. But we still greet each other on the scene. Sing a song or two and smile in between. That's us up there on the screen. Oh, yeah, the original Mr. and Mrs. could have been. My June, Johnny, my Jones, Bobby, unless you'll never be, you'll never be. You'll never be. Thank you very much. That was a song called My June to Johnny. It was many years ago. You guys gonna be like, John's gonna be like, why did Josh just not prepare a set that he could just play without me having to edit everything? Forgive me soul is in trouble. For it my window to be shattered, my floors to be burned. I'll wait here till the morning, then of my death you will learn. 'Cause my head is a rubber, my hands dirty clay, my soul is in trouble. Won't you visit me? For it can go wrecking ball. Well, my sister, little whisper, and her almond eyes were blame. For I ran from our parents' home in pursuit of fortune and fame. Well, the road, it was good to me, but I did not count the cost. My family, all inclusive, in my fire, they got lost. 'Cause my head, it is rubber, my hands dirty clay, my soul is in trouble. Won't you visit me? No, before it can go dead. For it can go, na 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 na. Oh, na 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 na. Wrecking ball. So forgive me, my family, but this is what I am. Yeah, that's good. That felt good. Thank you. All right. I think I've got time for one more, right? One more. All right, sweet. What shall we give you guys? Thank you so much for tuning in, all of you guys, all 3 cameras. And thank you to Sit the Folk Down for doing this. This is a really, really cool initiative. I hope we can all get behind it. And it's a way for the studio and the artists to make a little bit of bucks in this time. So get on board. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. My name is Jak Tomas. These have been my songs. This one's called Crossroads. I guess that's where we all find ourselves in right now. for you.